The other thing, and we're going to play a little sound here, of course, college football as camps approach. SEC Media Day is going on this week. As July is about to come to a close, and we'll thankfully have on-the-field storylines to talk about. There is some news in the college football world that we can talk about. It's also in the political world. But anytime we can hear Sark crying about something, I think we should start there. This is from SEC Media Days. This is Sark talking about missing the playoffs last year.
If we beat Ohio State last year, surely we're in a much better position when it comes to the playoffs. But on the other side of it is, if I don't play Ohio State and I play Jones Junior High, and we're 10-2, and our 2 losses are to Georgia and Florida, we're a playoff team. But like anything in this world, if you want to be really good at something, you got to take risk. There's a lot of value in that win if you can get the win. And so is the juice worth the squeeze or not? That's what we're all tasked with. And so I don't know yet about Notre Dame. We'll see. Because I think the committee's got to show us what happens now and what's the value that they're placing on strength of schedule. And are we going to let a 9-3 team in as an at-large? We'll find out. And I think that this year is going to be a great test to that of what that looks like.
Wow, okay, I had not heard that. I was all prepared to clown Sark for crying about not making the playoffs, but that's not actually the point he's bringing up. The point he's bringing up is absolutely a relevant one. Why would college football programs schedule decent non-conference teams? Why? What's the reward? And I've been kind of talking about what he's alluding to for a long time, that the committee members and voters before them are dumb. And they can't get past the record. They can never get past the number of losses. That's what all these calculations are all made on is, well, this is a 2-loss team or a 3-loss team or a 1-loss team. And then you get through all the 1-loss teams, and then you move on to the 2-loss teams, and you split hairs amongst the 2-loss teams. So to Sark's point, what was the point in playing Ohio State? There really isn't one unless you win, and then you are measured up against another 2-loss team, right? So I'm with him. You've got to I'm with him. You've got to figure out whether or not the juice is worth the squeeze. Do you get enough benefit from beating a tough team in your non-conference to make it worth it? And I think he's complaining that he was a 3-loss team and maybe should have jumped, or I guess he's not really saying that because they lost the game, but the potential benefit of winning the game, was it just a wash? Would they have gotten the same credit from beating South Alabama because their loss total is actually what matters, right? So if they would have won that game, they would have made the playoffs as a 2-loss team, not because they beat Ohio State. Does that make any sense?
No, of course. He's going to say all this, but remember the big storyline a couple months ago when Texas Tech was wanting to play them, right? He had some choice words about Texas Tech and the soft schedule that they play. And Tech offered to play Texas, and Texas won't do it. So I don't know.
But that's just pride. That's just pride messing with you. That's just Sark taking a shot at Texas Tech's pride.
Right.
And Texas Tech, with their hurt feelings, coming back and saying, oh, yeah, I'd like to see you play us. It had nothing to do with strategy to win the national championship.
Well, if he wants a good non-conference game, they open up their season this year against Texas State, right? What would look better on the resume, a win over Texas State or a win over Texas Tech?
It doesn't matter. That's his point. As long as you win, it doesn't matter. As long as you don't put an L, who cares who you beat? As long as it's a W, because nobody's looking back and giving any credit towards strength of schedule. It's all about the getting the win matters way more. And when I say the win, I'm not even saying win over a good team. Getting a win on your resume is way more beneficial than the risk of losing to anybody. So you might as well not take the risk. You might as well play an automatic team because you're going to get the same amount of credit for winning the game. And losing any game is way more consequential. So why would you play the hard opponent in the first place? Secretly, I'm sure Sark is super jealous of Texas Tech's schedule.
Probably.
He would love to play a schedule where he could just roll through with 1 or 2 losses and make the playoff no problem. Does that make sense? He's calling them out for a soft schedule, but he wishes he had a soft schedule. If he had a soft schedule, he would have made the playoffs last year. That's basically what he's implying. If they did not play Ohio State last year, they would have made the college football playoff. And he's totally right. So what was the point of playing Ohio State?
If they did also lose to Florida, who finished 4-8.
And and Georgia, as he said right there. But they still would have had 2 losses. It doesn't matter.
And if
they would have been an SEC team,
she'd be my uncle.
But they wouldn't have had 2 losses if they didn't play or they wouldn't have 3 losses if they didn't play in the game.
They wouldn't have 3 losses if they didn't lose to Florida. So I mean, it's easy to nitpick and pick the Ohio State out of conference game, but also if you handle your conference slate like you should, I mean, they have 9 conference games now.
Sure,
if you handle them like you should, that leaves you enough leeway with at least one really good out of conference game to essentially lose. You can still finish with a 10-win season if you handle your conference slate.
Okay,
you're supposed to be good enough.
Let me ask you this. Does Texas have to play Florida?
No. Do they?
Yes.
Well, they do.
They're
have to
in the
play
conference.
every
Yes,
year,
they have to play Florida. I don't even think they play every year, but you have to play the games.
Right, they have to play the conference games, yes.
You have to play the games your conference hands down. Do they have to play Ohio State?
No, they do not have to play that game.
So that's the point. They had, you can say take care of business and beat Florida. Well, they have no control over that. They have to play Florida. Whether they win or lose, they have to play that game. They don't have to play Ohio State. They can play a cupcake, and it doesn't matter. If they played a cupcake, they would have gotten into the playoff last year.
Well, strength of schedule should matter at some point, though, right?
But it does not.
Well, I mean, I think especially when it comes to expansion and you have 16 or 24 teams, right? And you're picking between, at that point, 4 9-win teams. You're going to pick the ones with the best strength of schedule, right? So I think I do think strength of schedule and your out of conference schedule, I think that is going to matter to an extent. To your point, right? Nobody made Sark schedule Ohio State, and that was maybe a little bit of arrogance thinking that they could win that game, and that would be an automatic ticket to the playoff, which they end up losing, and they miss out on that. But at some point, you have 3 non-conference games. You got to do something with them to separate yourself from, the next SEC team.
I don't think you really do. BYU had a better strength of schedule 2 years ago than SMU, and quite literally beat SMU on the field. SMU still got in. Right. They're not even using strength of schedule when they're making those decisions down with 2 and 3 lost teams. They're not. They're picking the more popular team or the team with more groundswell or more money or all sorts of different reasons. You would hope it'd be strength of schedule, but it's not. And even then, you're down. I mean, you could make an argument strength of schedule mattered way more with the 4-team playoff because there were way fewer teams that got in. So you had to figure data points to be able to get them in. Now, I don't know why teams would schedule hard teams in the non-conference. I really don't. There's literally no benefit to it other than being able to stick out your chest and saying, yeah, we play tough teams. All right. Well, what did that get Texas last year? Nothing.
Well, maybe Texas just wasn't very good.
Christian, we're talking about a 12-team playoff. 3/4 of the teams that get in are not very good. And that problem is just getting worse, not better, if they expand it. So, yeah, Texas wasn't very good last year. Well, we're measuring up against lots of not very good teams. So I get his point. I was prepared to disagree with Sark. I totally get his point. You got to figure out a way to make scheduling non-conference more beneficial, or teams aren't going to do it.
Or at least be transparent with, does strength of schedule matter, and follow that.
But the playoff committee has there's no like consistency.
Guideline, right.
There's
That's
no
what I'm
at
saying.
all. There's none. They're just, did they wake up with heartburn that day? That's how they're making decisions, is just based on a gut feeling in the moment.
And that's why Miami got in at the last second.
Yeah, so what is it? What good does it do you? What benefit do you have from playing even if you win? Like even if you beat Ohio State, it means the same amount as beating Ohio. Doesn't matter. Because all they care about is the loss column. How many losses do you have when weighing these decisions? Because these humans who are making the decisions aren't very smart. or nuanced for that matter. All right, there you go. There's the latest from Sark. The latest update, by the way, from a news perspective, but this is bad news. The college, what's it officially called? The bill in the Senate for college sports, the Protect College Sports Act. Well, this is reporting from ESPN. Senate Majority Leader John Thune does not expect the Protect College Sports Act will go to a full Senate vote before the August recess. This would substantially shrink the already long odds that the NCAA and its schools get an antitrust exemption. So this does not mean that the bill is dead, but this pretty much means the bill is on its way to being dead, certainly in this calendar year. So that's bad.
Shocker,
that's bad
right?
news, in my opinion. But yeah, not a shocker. No. All right. Coming up next, we're going to play a segment. David James was on with me in the 2:00 hour, and anytime you have David James on, you got to highlight that. So he was with us for our top 3 stories segment, and we covered a lot of good ground. So we're going to play that segment coming up next. Stay tuned. Jake and Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.